Hello, I'm Michael Troy Moore, candidate for the mayor of the city of Las Vegas since October 2018. In January 2019, the incumbent Mayor Goodman of the Mayor Goodman crime family illegally removed my certified name from the ballots, nomination, and election. Then, because of the Mayor Goodman crime family's control of the judicial system in the Las Vegas Valley and their affiliation with Governor Sisolak, they didn't properly investigate. Myself and another candidate filed challenges. They weren't looked into. By law, you cannot remove a certified candidate without a judicial order, which gives me the opportunity to go into court and argue why I should have been kept on the ballot. So, an incumbent mayor in-house removes me because they don't like me, because I criticize their ongoing crime family activities and their racketeering on Fremont Street experience. So we sued, and they've got such control of the judges over at the federal courthouse, just got stonewalled for 2.5 years. An emergency lawsuit to rerun the election with my name on the ballot, and they just keep going, we don't know who you're suing. And the judge even removed the defendant name, City of Las Vegas, off of my lawsuit to rerun the election. So it just keeps getting worse and worse. The municipality, the municipal court system, the mayor's secret police, and they would come to my work. As some of you know, I'm also an entertainer on Fremont Street as Rock Out, and they wrote me some frivolous ticket saying I was performing during the light show. Misdemeanor ticket, $1,000 fine, things like that. It's their MO. They just load up performers when they want to get rid of them. Well, even the body cam footage they fought me for 9 months on demonstrates that I did not perform during the light show, yet the judge won't dismiss it. They kept trying to get me to sign a stipulation called a submittal, which you could not find anywhere in law. It was just something they literally wrote in on a piece of paper below, not guilty, guilty, and no contest. They wrote it in and said, sign this. We don't want any fine money. We just want you to stay out of trouble for 6 months. And I go, I've been out of trouble for over a year while this ticket was pending. So they want me to sign it, and I was considering it just to make it go away. Then I find out if I had signed it, if I got in any trouble, even if I was found not guilty on a secondary charge, they could put me in jail for 6 months. They were trying to entrap me, and they were using the Nevada State Bar to do so, because I'm a non-bar attorney in their eyes. I'm legally a lawyer for the last 35 years and a general counsel for unions. But they wanted to give me a bar charge, which is a misdemeanor, but I'd already filed my right to work status where I don't have to join the bar in the state of Nevada. I did that in 2017, just as a fuck you to them, saying get off my back. So they were trying to entrap me, and I had till September 10th to agree to this submittal on the record. Then I find out they snuck a public defender in there on, I believe, May 15th, 2021, who entered a plea of not guilty on my behalf. Well, I never entered a plea at all until last month. I entered a plea of no contest in writing and paid the fine to tell them, fuck you, I'm done playing these games with you. You're not going to entrap me, and you're not going to misuse the judicial system as a form of termination for my employment on Fremont Street. You're also not going to entrap me and try to set me up. So I paid the fine and sent them a letter, no contest, and I also said this is because I'm a mayoral candidate. Then I could not get a fair trial at the Las Vegas Municipal Courthouse because Officer Bloomfield, who wrote the charge, the prosecutor, Matthew, and even the judge all work for the mayor of Las Vegas. How could I get a fair trial? And I'd filed motions for dismissal over and over again, and they were just summarily denied, even though the motions were written in such a way that they would have to explain why they denied them. And I asked the judge if he read the first one called Defendant in Error. And he said he did. Yeah, and on page 4 it says he can't just dismiss it, he has to dismiss it point by point on the 20 pages. So I can't get a fair trial. But even before that, them sending an attorney in there, because I hadn't entered a plea in almost a year, but they set a trial date for me. So I find out they sneaked this bar attorney in from the public defender's office without me, without my permission. There's no jail time even pending on this performing during the light show ticket. They sent him in to enter a no contest plea because the judge made a mistake in the proceedings. And then I went into the next hearing after that, and they said, well, we got to clean this up off the record. They wanted to go off the record. I told them I wasn't comfortable with doing that. And they said, well, there was a clerical error. Well, I come to find out, bullshit. They sent a public defender in there to enter a plea for me for a charge that does not have any jail time, nor did I authorize or ever meet this guy. So, in short, I went ahead, paid the $308 fine to the city of Las Vegas, and pleaded no contest, and said that I'm not going to get a fair trial because I'm a mayoral candidate. And this is bullshit. This is what they do to anybody seeking office that is not an incumbent in the state of Nevada, not just the city of Las Vegas, Clark County even. Several days ago, Mac Miller, who's running for lieutenant governor, and whether you like him or not is unimportant, he went to Clark County Board of Supervisors to speak and oppose the censorship and the violation of the First Amendment. They're going to criminalize the First Amendment. Within 20 or 30 seconds of him speaking, private security knocked him to the ground, bum rushed him, drug him out of the chambers. And that video I saw on the internet before it came down. They attacked him in the chambers, and legitimate law enforcement was subordinate to that private security. And then they took this man who's running for lieutenant governor, and they ran him into the electronic metal detectors, knocking him down and possibly unconscious. They've done this shit to me for the last several years since I've been running for mayor, pulling me into alleys, threatening to beat me up, threatening to put bullets in me, threatening to kill me. And before I pleaded the no contest plea in this ticket, I gave them a witness list. What do they do with the witness list? Right after they got it, they took 5 or 6 of my 12 witnesses and started threatening them. One, they took to the ground on Fremont Street, the same officer, Paul Bloomfield, of the city of Las Vegas's Public Safety Department, a.k.a. Mayor Goodman crime family's Gestapo rent-a-cops. And Bloomfield took him down. A guy named Jeff, who was on my witness list, almost broke his neck on Fremont Street. They charged him with drunken public. He wasn't drunk. The charges were dismissed, and it went to internal affairs. But they started attacking my witnesses. 5 or 6 of them left Las Vegas because they were told not to associate with Michael Troy Moore, not to show up and testify on his behalf, and so forth. So these people left. That's how scared they were of the Mayor Goodman crime family and the corruption in the city of Las Vegas, Clark County, and the state of Nevada. So I'm looking at this situation, and I'm a father of 4 and a grandfather of 4, and I'm newly married. And how long is it before they kill me? How long is it? They were going to try to entrap me with a practicing law without a license, and I don't practice law. I am a lawyer for a union. I don't practice, I don't pretend. I enforce the law and I uphold the Constitution. So what they were doing was setting me up with that submittal. So if I sign that just for the convenience of making this ticket go away, they could come in immediately and charge me with practicing without a license. Now the procedure in Nevada is the state bar has to sue you first before a criminal charge can come. But these bastards are so dirty in the prosecution's office at City of Las Vegas that I guarantee you they would have filed both charges in tandem, the civil and the criminal. Now, they would not have been able to convict me on those charges because I met with the state bar for an hour and a half and explained to them how I can be a lawyer, how I have a federal admission, how I have exceeded functional equivalency, and how I've been doing this since about 1988 legally for the unions. As a union representative, I got tired of our lawyers overcharging us and not getting things done and not putting our members back to work. And I said, this is bullshit. I found the loophole. I exercised it. And I'm legit and I'm legal. It's a myth that you have to be a member of the Bar Association, the British Accreditation Registry. What the fuck is that? Where's the American Accreditation Registry? Well, you know what our registry is? It's the United States Constitution and state constitutions. In the right-to-work state, like Nevada, I can't be forced to join a union against my will, to seek employment, maintain employment, gain employment, or render humanitarian aid as a lawyer to the poor. So the bar asked me if I would just take ESQ off of one of my emails and I'd quit using the title General Counsel. I told them no. And I said, in fact, why don't you send me the complaint from the city of Las Vegas? Because FSE threatened they were going to do this right after I got it into court in D.C. that the Fremont Street performers are employees. They're going to have to pay all this back minimum wage. The city of Las Vegas and the Fremont Street Experience is a joint employer. I had warned them in summer of 2015 that this was going to be a problem and tried to save the city liability, but instead of listening, they were so corrupt they thought they could just run over the performers and the union. So the state bar concluded that I wasn't breaking any laws. And I said, why don't you send me the charge? In fact, who made the complaint? They said, Brad Jerbick, City of Las Vegas, city attorney. And I go, when did he make the complaint? They said, first week of December 2020. And I go, that's pretty interesting considering that he retired in July, several months before that. So it's all bogus. Then the state bar did not send me the complaint. There was a bunch of holes in it that I obviously was able to argue with the bar investigator. They never sent it to me, even though they promised. And I also told him, I said, if you're so worried about me being a member of the bar, why don't you send me an application? You're a union according to the Supreme Court, the Union of Lawyers and Attorneys in the United States. Organize me, solicit me, ask me to join. And I asked the investigator, I said, if I join, doesn't it make all these questions and complaints moot? She agreed. I also said Brad Jerbick in 2008 also submitted to the Nevada legislature saying they had to allow lawyers like me to operate in the state due to the changing landscape of the profession. So Brad Jerbick petitioned the Nevada state legislature in 2008 to allow people like me to be non-bar lawyers. And then somebody put his name on a bar complaint after he no longer worked for the city on letterhead saying that I was a non-bar attorney. I've never claimed to be in the bar. So the bottom line is the Mayor Goodman crime family, along with the Fremont Street Experience, is engaged in racketeering. And we will publish another video on that in the near future. And we're really wondering why the Department of Justice and the FBI and everybody's just kind of looking the other way, because they know. It's time for the Mayor Goodman crime family to be indicted. Since my life and safety has been directly threatened, my witnesses have been threatened, I am now converting my mayoral campaign for the city of Las Vegas and declaring that I am a mayoral candidate still, but I'm a mayoral candidate in exile indefinitely until such time as the Mayor Goodman crime family is indicted, tried, thrown in prison, removed from office, and the Constitution is reestablished in the Las Vegas Valley. So I'd appreciate your support, because these people haven't done a goddamn thing for the people of Las Vegas in 40 years. And one of my platforms as mayor for Las Vegas was dealing with the water problem. I had a point-by-point, hardcore plan to deal with water for the next 100 years in the Las Vegas Valley. They didn't like that. Already had the technology. My father invented the technology. He also ran for the mayor of the city of Martinez for many years before he passed away. He invented magnetic rails for trains back in the 70s, and he also invented a water system that takes water, creates energy out of it, and the byproduct is drinking water. My plan was to put an aqueduct in from Southern California, bring the Pacific Ocean to Primm, use solar desalination, and then ship the water up to Las Vegas. The technology has been in use since the 1970s in Western Australia. So the water problem was the main thing that Las Vegas needed help with from any elected official. And these old bastards that are in there and bitches, for lack of a better word, these corrupt people knew that the water in Las Vegas was going to run out after they died or left office. That's why they didn't touch it. That's why they didn't deal with it. Now, in the middle of October of 2021, you're going on water rationing. That's with FEMA, that's with the federal government, and there are 101 reasons why. But they didn't take care of the water problem in Las Vegas. So even if there was no corruption, they should have been held accountable for that. But the reality is, Steve Sisolak, Mayor Goodman, crime family, Joe Gloria over at Voter Reg of Clark County, and the Clark County supervisors are beating up candidates for office that challenge incumbents. They're threatening. They're trying to put them in jail. They're getting them fired from their jobs. They're screwing with the business licenses of family members like they did with mine, trying to put undue economic stress on anybody who's seeking office. They even contacted landlords of my family members and tried to get them to break the lease so we wouldn't be within the city limits. It's amazing. It's so corrupt. And more for mayor, a mayoral candidate in exile indefinitely until these corruption issues are resolved and candidates are no longer threatened, is running for mayor of Las Vegas. I appreciate your support, but more importantly than me becoming mayor is that this is exposed and Las Vegas is made fair again for all. Thank you for your time, and you need to be aware of this. If I suddenly fall off the planet soon, you know what happened. That's why I'm going into exile. That's why I'm considering a witness protection offer. But at the same time, then my whole life goes right down the toilet if I go into the witness protection program. So, you know what? They'd probably come get me anyway. So, fuck them. Fuck the Mayor Goodman crime family. Vote more for mayoral candidate in exile. And we'll see this to the end. Because the message is more important than me, or me even being sworn into office and trying to fix it. You guys need to know that the Mayor Goodman crime family has run Las Vegas into the ground. They've even changed the boundaries of the city limits to make sure the casinos on the Strip don't pay city taxes. Every property owner in the city of Las Vegas should be mad as hell. More for mayor of Las Vegas, mayoral candidate in exile indefinitely. Make Las Vegas fair for all.